All right. Good evening, everybody. We have Tristan Yolton. You may know him as Kaiju Ninja. He's
Hello.
a friend of mine. And we have hosting with me tonight is Sean Payton. My wife's not feeling good, so I'm glad to have you here with me tonight, Sean, to help out. And Brent Dill will probably stop by and visit us a little later, too. So uh,
Cool.
Cool.
we're going to have, I'm going to go ahead and get the chat thing going here, I think. Swear to God.
Good luck.
My wife just said, good luck. All right, my eyes. There we go. Thank you for showing up, my eyes in Selleck 1967. Uh, um, oh wow, thank you, Sean. Did you do that?
What?
The High Mrs. Barbecue.
No.
I didn't do that. That's cool. Anyway, um, Sean, uh, you've been out for a little while. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Hanging in there.
Caught your live show there last week. A little short one, but that was a lot of fun. Uh, I
Yeah, I
certainly.
figured I had to go live at some point, you know? A little bit of depression will take you out for a little while, but, you know, it is
It's
what it
good.
is.
It's good to
You
see
get
that.
through it.
Yeah. That. Let me take that off. I think. I don't know. Hello, everyone. Angela. Uh, been waiting to have Tristan back on. He's probably one of my favorite people I've met doing this, and uh, so it's good to have you back, Tristan. How you been?
I'm doing good. Yeah, thanks for having me back. Yeah,
I
things have
noticed
been good.
people have been wanting to talk to you. I get messages all the time.
Oh yeah.
Uh, oh yeah. Well, you do good stuff. Good. Um, you what you do is good, I think, and so
Thank you.
um, I'm one of those people that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Uh, uh, the time that when we've met there at Bumping Lake, and I don't keep that stuff a secret. I don't know why people like Shelley do things like that. Everybody knows about Bumping Lake. Everybody. If you're doing Sasquatch work, then you know where Bumping Lake is. So I mean, I don't see the secrecy of why it's even worth it. It's not. Considering that we got into that second biggest camp there, uh, my wife and I, and then you showed up in there,
Yeah.
and so I'm looking forward to using both those camps this year if we can. Uh, I think that especially with some of the stuff that you've captured, I finally got to listen to some of it today more than I have. Uh, I really need to break up that long one. I think Sean has also heard the long one. Uh, that one is like 33 minutes or so. Boy, there's a lot of stuff in there, man. It's just right now I didn't have the time tonight to do that,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to focus this. So um, I am going to try right off the bat to play a sound. I really like the whoa mimic, uh, no
Oh yeah.
whoa
Mm-hmm.
like that,
Move
but
on.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to start with the screams. So I'm going to see if I can't make this work, guys.
Okay.
Go to share screen, Chrome tab. My wife took me through this like you wouldn't believe. And we're going to go with talking while drumming, I think is what I want to hear. I think you guys will like this.
Was that playing through your speaker?
I think so. Let me
Okay.
see. Did you guys hear it?
It's probably best for people listening probably to have headphones on when hearing these ones. I mean, I could hear it, but definitely not. Like if you had your headphones on, probably would be a better experience. But
And I'm going to see if
I don't know if there's a way you
oh,
can raise the volume of it. I'm not sure how StreamYard uses audio. So
let's see. I've got. Can I go a little more? I'm at 100%. Uh,
okay.
I I'm not real I'm not real savvy with this kind of stuff, so just bear with me, guys.
It's all good.
Uh, I usually don't fly like this. It's good to see you, Brian and Chewy. Go hiking. I'm not going to pay a lot of attention to the chat, guys. I'm sorry because I'm not very fast at this kind of stuff, and I'm trying to keep the show flowing and all that. And Tommy Cooper, very nice. Good to have you here. I always love having to give the shout outs to the people and the tall ones. My good friend, very good friend, Brent. So
Hey, Brent.
link doesn't work for God. Hey, would one Sean?
Yeah,
Could
I
you
got
send
it.
a link to? It never works when we send Brent a link, man. I swear to God.
It's a conspiracy against Brent.
Yeah, it must be, man. And
I think that's it.
so tell us a little bit about that. If I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll see if I'll play it one more time. I turned that up as high as I could do it.
Okay. Yeah, I recommend headphones for people out there. Probably the best way to hear it if it comes through.
Let's see here.
And that goes for all the sounds that you play, I'd say.
Share screen and Chrome tab.
Did you hit the little audio button, Jay, in the corner?
Yeah.
When you share screen, on the bottom left, it'll say share system audio or something like that. You got to check mark that too.
Share tab audio, it says. And there is a check mark on it.
Oh, okay.
So we'll try this again.
All right. I just want to make sure.
Talking while drumming.
You want me to talk about it before you play it? Or
yeah, let's go ahead and tell us what we're listening to before I turn it on. Tell us what you were doing.
Okay, so I was with a group of other Bigfooters. This was, I believe, it was back in May of 2020 or so. It was during the summer. I think it was in 2020, and we were around. There's like 5 of us, and we were around this campfire. And this was at Rock Camp where you were, Jay. And we started making a bunch of noise, and we had some. Somebody had a couple of people had some drums, some Native American drums, and we were drumming on those and singing and stuff. And then one of our researcher friends, he started going woo-ha, woo-ha. I don't know where he got it from, but he just started doing that at camp. And then I had a recorder up on the hill behind the campsite, and I could actually hear it too at camp. You can hear something behind us on the hill mimic his woo-ha basically. And he actually, the researcher who did the woo-ha even mentions that in the recording, like, oh, are you playing the woo-ha one or is it the drumming one?
The talking while drumming.
I'm sorry. No, yeah, but same kind of the same night with the drums. And I think what's going on in that recording is possibly a female and a male talking to each other. So when you hear one of our researcher friends start drumming in the background, you hear a female voice start talking, and then you hear a really deep, loud male voice respond to it at the end of it. Close to the recorder, if you hear voices closer to the recorder, if they come in more clear, I think that might be possibly, I'll just say possibly Sasquatch making those voice sounds. So like that, the ending go sound at the end there, I think that might be possibly a male Sasquatch, because I don't think that definitely wasn't one of us at the campfire. And as you know, there's no other campers around that area.
Right. That's the one thing about
it's just woods basically. Like the nearest campsite is like pretty far away, so it wouldn't be another camper, coming in and trying to mess with us. So I can't explain those two voices that you hear up close to the recorder. So I'll just say possibly Bigfoot. I can't say Bigfoot for sure because obviously we didn't see it. So but it's very strange. It's very strange language that you hear.
Okay.
And it does sound like a language to me.
We're gonna give it a shot here.
Okay. Yeah, that came in a little bit better. So you hear the researcher, a researcher friend going to, he yells something at camp, and then he starts drumming, and then you hear a female voice kind of close to recorder saying some kind of language. I can't even understand what she's saying. And then towards the end of the recording, you hear this you probably heard it there, is that some weird loud voice there, and that definitely was not one of us, because this recorder was pretty far up on the hill there, so we would have not have come in that clear from where we were by the campfire. So I don't know, I thought that was interesting, and I made a clip of that. And
well, I know that where we were at, I know how you put your how you do your recordings and stuff, where you put them and stuff, as far as you take them far enough away from camp to and like you said, and I would question you if I haven't been to Bumping Lake, but yeah, the campsites are way too far apart for that is the quietest place I've ever camped in my life. It's unbelievably quiet. It's so peaceful there. You don't have the party hardy, none of that stuff. At least that and the 2 times I've been there, it's been the most. There's hundreds of people there, literally all up and down them roads, and you don't hear anything except vehicles during the day, which is that's just bizarre to me. It's a beautiful national forest. Uh, there, not quite. I don't like it as much as I do what we have here, the Gifford Pinch, because there's not as many berries and those types of things. But I love the things like the giant pine cones and those types of things, and the lodgepole.
right. It's more like an Eastern Washington kind of a feel there, in my opinion, and not as lush or like the Olympics or anything like that. So yeah.
What'd you get from that, Sean?
Some sounds.
Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to hear,
Sean's watching the chat for me, man.
Yeah, I was just asking Brent if the link worked.
Ah,
I got a frog in my throat. That's the other problem.
I've had one for a month now. I'm going to let's see, going to hide the current comment. I'm sure we do have Brian and Chewy. Thank you, Brian. I had gotten the COVID and I had to reschedule Brian and Chewy. We're going to have them last week, so we have them coming up in 3rd of February, I believe. So
cool.
Yeah, it's
All
gonna
right.
be pretty good. I have a next week. I got a guest that has been a friend of mine for several years. Met him actually through the Whiskey Tribe, and he lives in New York. And we got on to Bigfoot one day, a couple years ago. And plus, he also cooking channel. I was not a channel, but a club I was a member of, and so we kind of double whammied there and became good friends. And he started opening up about some of the things he's done uh, with Sasquatch and stuff. So he's another one like Kaiju that not a lot of people knew about him. And so I like to bring these guys in, the guys that they're not on TV. They haven't made a good name for themselves yet, or a bad name for themselves. And I'm hoping to give you as much advice and help you as much as I can. Like I said, I get people contacting me all the time to wanting to give you advice and stuff, like not handling the stuff that you handle with bare hands and things like that. And
Yeah.
it's just for the sake of the future. I think that's reasonable. I think that you should cast at least a few of the prints that you see, um, even though, and you know that some of them are old because of the mud you got them in had the big cracks and stuff like that. So it's I wouldn't, if I found tracks with mud cracks and things like that, which tells me they're at least a few days old. I probably wouldn't, because of the cracks. I would cast them, but not for the world. You know what I mean? It'd be something for that I could show amongst the people that were associated with. But yeah, I think that you're on the right track, Tristan. I honestly do, and I think that with if you take a little more scientific approach. You really got some stuff there that's worth trusting people to look at. I wouldn't say, hey, look up Wes Germer or anybody, Bobo or Cliff or anything like that. I'm just saying, some of that stuff you got. If I was you, I'd see if Dr. Meldrum would give you an audience.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, well, I mean, I have sent off some of the audio. Well, with Sean's help, which I totally appreciate his help. To Chris Spencer and some other people, including Dave Ellis. So they've heard some of my audio and they think it's pretty compelling. So I just wish I could see what made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Eyes has a question for you. I'm going to do the best I can for getting these questions up and stuff like that, Tristan. Is the drumming unusual or typical? I don't think it wasn't a Sasquatch doing the drumming, right?
No.
Okay.
No, it was a researcher. It was just a researcher friend. So we were just by the, we had a circle around the campfire and a couple of us had drums and others were just singing and making noise. So in terms of camping, yes. I mean, we bring drums with us and do that around campfires just to see if we can bring them in there. So if that's what My Eyes is asking, then yes. Unusual? Is it drumming unusual? Not for the campouts. No, we try to bring drums and anything that can elicit noise.
Your
Hopefully
mom
draw them
plays
in.
harmonica, right? While you guys are out.
Yep. Yeah. When she and I go squatching, she brings a harmonica with her, and she likes to play it usually before she leaves an area. So she'll say, "Bye, we're leaving now." Then she'll start playing the harmonica as she's leaving. And
I'm just learning the harmonica.
yeah. It's a pretty neat instrument. It's a pretty neat instrument, and because of its interesting sound to it, I think it might bring them in. Make them curious. Oh. And by the way, I have casted prints before at Bumping Lake. It's just that if we're doing with juveniles, the actual the cast prints, they kind of look. I'm just gonna say they kind of look human in a way, and so it's kind of hard to differentiate the human and the juvenile prints once you cast them, in my opinion. So we have tried casting prints there for sure, absolutely. It's just that I've never casted a print that's like 17 inches or anything like that yet. That's what I would love to do if I find a print that large and able to cast that. I would love to. Oh, hey Brent, what's up?
Welcome,
What's
buddy.
up, guys?
Now leave
Hey,
the
guys.
door open. Anything will walk in, right?
I know, huh? Especially when you're the one that sent me the link.
Yeah, I know. What was
I
I
got to figure
thinking?
it out, buddy. Every time I try to have you on, man, the link doesn't work.
Get more space.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know, huh?
I can breathe.
Let's
I was
get
like,
that, yeah.
yeah, sorry, fashionably late as usual.
That's okay, man. So I would, even though you think that they're hard to distinguish, that you can distinguish them, and I think what's important is if you cast them as juveniles, you have an opportunity, to cast that same individual throughout its growing up,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, because you can find identifying marks on the footprint, just like you would be able to with handprints and things like that. If you are able to cast those, you can also see what kind of damage or whether they walk with a limp or things like that. If you're able to connect with the same group or I think it'd be exciting to be able to cast a juvenile print and then know that you cast that same one a couple years later and then a couple years later or whatever, and watch the growth pattern of that. And I think that's real good science too. Is because right now nobody wants to cast anymore. They think it's just old school type of stuff. But I think for those types of things, it's important because the majority of casts are all adult. From about 13 to 18 is your biggest group as far as inches go for casts, and then you have a small group of 9-inch and up to 12. But I'm talking
Right.
about a real juvenile track. I think you should do it, especially as good as you are at finding, you know, and you're young and able to get to some of these areas that I can't get to. But I know that if I had the tools back when I was your age, that they do now, oh my gosh, I'd have been a whole different
Mhm.
guy. So, you know, that's my recommendation to you as far
Okay,
as
yeah.
that goes, because you should be able to decipher, um, just with a few lines and things like that in the foot, whether it's human or not.
Yeah,
So,
no, I think that's great. That's great advice, and yeah, I would love to keep going back to Bumpy Lake just to see if you see a change in the size of the prints, and yeah, and 9 to 12 inches is what I've been finding there basically, and like those photos I sent you before, that trackway that we found in 2015, that was 9 to 12 inches, and there was even I think there was a 13 inch up more on the beach a little bit more, but yeah. Yeah, I would love to document it like that if I could, to see the growth of them. It's just kind of hard to know like where the family is gonna, like
right,
where they're
right.
gonna be on the beach. So it's like you really have to search and hope that you're gonna find those exact prints again because as you know, that's a big freaking lake
Yeah,
there.
oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
Big
do
to
some research up
discover.
here this year at this lake right up here that's above us, Merrill Lake, because there
Oh,
have
cool.
been footprints found there in the mud on the opposite side. So I said Brent gave me this pontoon there a couple months ago. I meant Grant gave me this little rowboat pontoon that I'm going to use to get to the other side and then take some of them trails and get into the mud flats. That's where they've been actually throughout the years. That's where I got the idea was that in 2012 they have photographs of a like a juvenile 4.5 to 5 inch print with full grown 14-inch tracks. So I think that
Wow.
that would have been I wasn't into it again until what happened to us in 2016. So, but I definitely want to do that, and I think that that being able if you can match that up with a certain individual or a
Mhm.
family group, geez, that you got some
Yeah.
history then, at least to show growth, and that gives you at least a little bit more of a tool when you're trying to present something, to a PhD or where I don't care about skeptics, so I just don't care. I
Yeah.
got no time. I just don't care. But,
Yeah.
interested guys like Dr. Meldrum, you could get a lot of help from him if you were to do something like that, um, because he was actually involved in what I'm talking about up here at Merrill Lake. He was actually involved in that, uh, verbally involved back in
Oh,
2012. So, uh,
cool. Yeah, and I don't know if there's a lot of information about juvenile prints either. It seems like you always hear about the adults. So when people find these possible juvenile prints, it's like, oh, are they really juvenile prints or are they people prints? So it's like, I don't know. What I'm saying is, I don't know if there's enough information about those out there. So even,
Oh yeah,
I'm sure like Meldrum
there's
knows about juvenile
yeah,
prints. So,
there's
yeah.
plenty of information because that's what he studies.
yeah, basically that. Yeah,
Okay.
You know
Cool.
what I mean? A foot's a foot, you know?
that's how some people are right now, um, are kind of, uh, well, I thought I removed Brent for a second.
Oh
But,
man, I'm still here.
yeah, uh, yeah, yeah. Um, we have more people in the chat. Thanks for showing up, guys. I'm doing the best I can to monitor both things and keep a good conversation going. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and play another sound here. I'm going to loop the one though, the wah. I'm going to play that next. So if do you have anything you want to say about the wah?
The what? Is that
Well,
I'm trying to figure out, does
Wah.
it just go what or,
Yeah, it's just a single
oh,
wah.
oh yeah, that's what I sent Sean. That's the, I think. Yeah, is that the one that kind of sounds like a gorilla?
I would think
The
so. Yeah.
what? He goes, "Oh, does it go like that? Is
Yeah.
that the one?" Yeah, that was taken at the Blue Mountains. I didn't go on that trip, but my mom went on that trip with some of our Bigfooters up there in the Blue Mountains, and she had a recorder running one night while she didn't hear it, but she had a recorder running, and then apparently it sounds like they kind of checked out the camp, and
I wish.
Brent was smoking a doom. That's what the Sasquatch need to do.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, she was able to capture this ooh kind of noise, and to me it sounded like a gorilla or some kind of primate making that. And I don't know if it was a human doing that, but I mean it just sounded more like a primate to me. So I just thought that was interesting, and Sean and I were kind of talking about trying to get those kind of sounds, and I said, well, I do have something like that recorded I can send you. So yeah, I know it's very quick. So
I have a lot of your stuff. It's just, dude, there's about 5 shows worth of stuff that you sent me easily. So, I mean, easily. So, all right, we're gonna play the wool real quick. There we go.
well, I'm sorry. That's a different sound. It's okay. I didn't know which one that was.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and play it again.
Okay.
It stubbed its toe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something.
Well,
No,
actually, it sounded better. Like the first couple of times, it kind of sounded like kind of like had some fuzziness to it. But as you played it a little bit more, it got better. So.
well, yeah, you have 2. You have. I chose to play this one. You have 2, but for a future show, I'm gonna send some of the stuff to Sean if you don't mind. So he's got, unless you sent him everything you sent me. Brett too probably would like some of this stuff. So I'm trying to get you.
Right. I mean, I think I sent the most of the stuff to you just because for you to broadcast it. So.
Tell us what mic you use while you're out there. That's a good question, Howler.
Well, let's see, for that one, I used a, do I have her here? Yes. I think I showed this on Sean's show, but to get those sounds in particular, I used a Tascam DR05. And yeah, so the Wuha, okay, like I was kind of saying earlier, what was going on there with this Wuha was we had a researcher friend at the campfire go, Wuha! And he did that like a couple times, and I think the second time he did it in the background, something mimicked his woo-ha, and we actually, some of us, I heard it too, but some of us heard that response, and luckily I was able to capture that on the recorder. So after he did woo-ha, then something mimicked that in the behind us up on the hill. So that's what you just heard. And I think they did that a couple times. So, well, I mean, one of the 2 sounds that you have there of that. So it goes woo-ha, woo, and that's their mimic, I guess, for whatever reason.
Have you been mocked while you've been out there?
Have I been mocked?
Mimicked.
Have I been mimicked?
Yeah, I mean, have you like whooped something or and had it come right back?
Yeah. Well, so I think I sent it to you too, but I was at a secluded lake here in Washington, and I didn't hear this in person, but and Brent heard this too. I played this with Brent, the whoop. So I whooped at this lake, and I guess I was too far away to hear it, but on the recorder, it caught something whooping back in response, and it actually did this a couple of times because I did not hear this because this must have happened on the other side of the lake, which was pretty far back. And I was already on my way out when I was doing my own whoop. So I just wasn't in the right area to hear it in person, but on the recorder, it caught it. But anyway, so I did a whoop, a really loud whoop, and I guess it carried pretty far. And then a few about 10 to 18 seconds later. So something double whoops, basically goes whoop, whoop. And then I didn't even hear this. And then I thought, well, what if I would knock? Maybe that'll get a response. And again, I did not hear any of this in person. So I actually did a couple of wood knocks, went boom, 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 boom. And then a couple seconds later, whatever that was, responded to that and did another whoop in response to that. And that was it in terms of that whoop recording. And so as far as mimic goes for me, that's probably the closest thing I've ever had happen in terms of a mimic. Other than the woo-ha sounds that I got at rock camp there. But that's about, in terms of mimics, that's as far as I've ever heard or captured.
Well, I've been wanting to take Brent up there for a long time. Pretty much since we first met, I've been wanting to go up there, and it just hasn't worked out yet. But I think that you must have a better recorder than I do. Mine was out for the whole 4 days. I didn't get a thing, nothing. The only thing that was weird was I'd walked into one section and grabbed some wood and brought it back. And when I went back to grab another handful of wood, somebody came through there before we were there, and they cut down a bunch of trees, and they were all cut, cut into lumber, perfect size for fire. It was all nice dry wood and all that. But there was a pile of poop there. But it was like, I don't know, like a regular, like a human poop or something. It was weird. It was just like out of the blue, or a dog even. But I noticed that the evening, Leon, and hey, Lockbeard, good to see you here, buddy. But I know that I went and got my wife because the dog was over there sniffing. I was like, this wasn't here 5 minutes ago but I just, it was too small to be. It wasn't it was about human size, and it was like two of them, like someone just stopped real quick, let it go, and kept on their business. So
wow.
yeah, it's just that out of nowhere. That's the only weird thing, other than the mouse that was laid out as a gift, apparently on one of those stumps, and it was just, ants were just devouring it into a skeleton.
Wow.
So yeah, it's weird. A lot of people like to call that gifting. I like to call it litter.
Yeah.
When you get into those areas like that,
Yeah,
it's straight
it
up
is.
litter, man.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that even when Thomas Steenberg said, "Hey, I wonder if when Alex had gone to Bluff Creek," he says, "I wonder if he found the can that I nailed to a tree for Renee DeHen and all them years ago." I said, "You mean your litter, Thomas? Because
Exactly.
anywhere you stack it, it's litter, man."
Exactly.
But there's a lot of unique things in that camp too. I don't know if you've noticed, but the like the old logging, like their food supplies and stuff, the old empty cans that are rusted out now and stuff.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. Did you notice all the cans there?
Yeah, it's just that's from like 60 or 70 years ago. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I didn't pick that up because it seems like some kind of a history or something. Realistically, I didn't feel like so much that was litter. I don't know why it is, but it's a history too. They're looking at old pictures of how that looked before it was logged, 50 years ago or so. It's unbelievable that's just how they ate their stuff and just threw it to the side.
Right. Right.
I was looking actually for whiskey bottles and old beer bottles, but I didn't find anything. I'm sure that those have been long picked up a long time ago because those are so collectible, but thought that maybe there was a chance. So
Yeah. Even find those intact would be, because I've seen a lot of broken bottles in glass there, and in fact, I even picked it up last time I camped there. I tried picking up some glass and things and put it in a trash bag because it was just all around, and I didn't like the idea of the Sasquatch stepping on cans and broken glass out there. Because it's like, imagine them getting cut. So Yeah,
that's
and
great.
there's also a bench, which is kind of weird. There's like an old bench. Somebody made a wooden bench out on the other side of the camp where you guys were. It's like kind of in the woods a little bit, and there's actually a big hole right in front of this bench, and I don't even understand what that's all about. But there's a giant hole back in there too.
I think I may have I think Sean
Crapper.
might use it.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to call it a crap hole, but it was pretty big, man. It's like, like something caved in or something. It's odd. So
Wow.
No,
Yeah.
I come across those every once in a while, like off in the yonder there, like on hikes and stuff. They have little things like that set up. Beautiful view if you ever use it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right.
Really? Is
Yeah.
that what do you think? Well, I'll tell you what, in that spot there at Bumping Lake, the rock camp they call it, where I was,
Mhm.
Tristan told us to take this trail, and and we did. Me and my wife did, and we came upon it's about a 5-6 minute walk, but it's just beautiful. You go straight up and you come out, and there's a granite kind of what would you call it?
A rock shale. You're
Rock
talking
shale,
about the rock
yeah.
shale? Yeah. Mhm.
And it's steep and all that stuff, but then you have the big trees growing every once in a while out of the middle of it, and then you had little patches, and it went straight up into a ridge, and then you could see where there was great places left and right of that for hiding or hunting, or it was really intriguing. We actually spent about an hour just relaxing up there in that big open area. You really had the feeling that there was something there, but we never saw or heard anything. But
Right.
those were some of the biggest mushrooms I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
That those coral mushrooms, they were just we were so tempted to go ahead and when I'm in a situation like that where I know that these things are there, or they're typically there, just because of the amount of attention that lake gets, I usually tend to leave their food source alone. And
Mhm.
I would only have to assume that they eat those mushrooms. Uh, those are the biggest corals I've ever seen too. I'd never seen corals that big.
Yeah, they get pretty big there, and I've actually seen morale mushrooms in that camp as well. Morale mushrooms.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, no joke, no joke. Seen morale mushrooms there,
I know.
so maybe they eat those as well. I'm not sure.
I know what Sean's thinking.
Yep.
I
Well,
just saw.
we talked about mushrooms on the last podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Brent
I'm
had
gonna
some
eat.
insight about that. So
I'm gonna eat the red
I
ones.
think it's
I'm gonna eat the red
the
ones.
psychedelic ones.
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
JC was
know.
like, "Don't eat the red ones; they're poisonous." I'm like, "Those are ones I want."
It's funny as sometimes we talk about ego in this, but it's in everything you do. I was a member of a mushroom club, and I was a member of that club for 3 stinking days. And when somebody had asked, "Is the one you're talking about, the red one with the little spots, is it edible?" And I said, "Well, no, it's not." And I had 3 books on me right then and there to show you that they're not edible. But the guy that one of the admins told me I was spreading false news, that all you had to do is boil them multiple times and strain them, and then
Mm.
they were edible. And I thought to myself, well, every book I have says they're poisonous. Almost nobody dies from eating a mushroom. They make you sick. They'll make you shit yourself, and all kinds of bad things. Literally can make you very, very ill. But rarely do people die from them. But I just thought to myself, but he couldn't just lay it to bed like that. And I posted pictures from my books and everything, and he told me still it was fake news. And then he showed that the newest my books were like 5 years old. The newest books say go ahead and pick them, boil them 4, 5, 6 times until they're like there's nothing there. So then you could why would you do that? I mean, what would you get out of it? So
Gotta get that poison out of there.
I was just like, well, I'm done with this shit here, boy. I don't need this. I'll stick with what I know. There's about 5 mushrooms I know, and I pick, and corals is one of them. That's like one of my absolute favorites. And this year was a good year for those what they call hedgehogs, and that's a mushroom that's dark. It's about that big around, and it looks like hedgehog quills underneath it, but it's not. But that's why it's called a hedgehog. Those things are really, really good. So it's that's something I always look for when I'm out and about, is those types of things. I know about the pine mushroom. You can smell those, so that's another good one. Those are worth ridiculous amounts of money. I don't pick them to sell them. I pick them and eat them. So that, I hate that way that sounds. I pick them and eat them.
Pick 'em and eat 'em.
If a blind guy was saying no. Hey, JC, got any questions? Anybody? I'm going to play something else.
Yeah, play something else. Let's
I'm going
do
to
it.
play Bigfoot singing.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Led Zeppelin.
Nope, it sounds like Led Zeppelin.
It sounds, yeah, they sound like lead. Yep.
Hey, look at that. I'm on
Got their own
point.
band.
You want to lead us into it?
I can't remember. I don't know which. I think I sent you 2 singing files, and I can't remember which one this is in particular. So, how about if we just listen to it, and then I can.
Well,
just
let's
give
do
you
it, and then you can talk about it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it again.
Okay.
There's other noise in there too that I was curious about.
Yeah. So that was taken in Greenwater, and it was, I believe it was taken at night, because it was actually, it was around 5, 6 o'clock. And I think during that time of the year, it was dark out. And actually before that noise, like you just said, there's actually some kind of vocal in the background before you hear that thing.
That's what I heard.
Almost like a response. And the weird thing is that actually a minute or 2 before, you actually hear some elk bugling and actually going, and I think they go through the forest at that, like a minute or so right before you hear these 2 sounds. And in my opinion, I don't think these are elk that you're hearing. It's either a person or maybe a Bigfoot. I can't say for sure what it is, but I just thought that was a strange noise to capture when it was around dark. It was around 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I don't know how many people are out there following elk and making that kind of noise. I don't know. I just thought it was a strange noise, and I just wanted to make a clip of it. And whether people want to think it's a human or a Bigfoot or whatever, I mean, that's totally up to them. I have no idea what did it. I know the sound of it could be like a human making that. It's not really deep or not really loud, but it is odd. It's an odd sound, and like we just mentioned, there's actually another background sound right before that, and I can't even explain what that is. It almost sounds metallic or something in a way. And but I don't know, if we're talking about 2 Sasquatch making noise there, maybe that's just one of them responding to the other, and maybe at that time they're following the elk. I think that would be possible. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just I won't claim any of these sounds to be Bigfoot. It's just up for interpretation for anybody. So if people want to think it's a human, totally fine with me. I have no idea. Just putting the evidence out there for people to interpret and listen to. So.
Hey, Bat Mom, welcome, Bill Reed. Well, the thing is, Tristan, is I trust you. You've never said this is it. You always say, because I know where you go. I know that you're not around anybody when you're making these. Is why I trust when I'm listening to something. It's your stuff has captivated me from the beginning, because I know I'm listening to something. There are times when you go, you know what? You could probably attribute this to something. It's weird because when I was up at our spot with Brent and Steve, at one point during the early part of one of the days, you could hear a train. The nearest train is in Woodland, Washington. That's like 40 from up in that spot. That's like 40 miles away. So that was bizarre to hear that, and I heard it like 3 times that weekend. So it sounds can carry for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I'm not so sure when it comes to you have a lot of high voice type of stuff that I've listened to today. And if my wife hadn't been sick, trust me, there would have been a bunch of stuff up here tonight, and she'd have been captain in this while I do the talking and stuff. And my buddies here, thank you guys for helping me host this tonight too. But yeah, Brent, hadn't heard a word out of you. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, busy with work. It was supposed to be my slow time, but not quite. So, but it's a good problem to have. So can't
Yeah,
complain.
that is.
I mean, I would, and I would love to get out to the woods. I tried that, like, gosh, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago, and there's just so much snow out there. Like it's just, man, so much snow, and so it's hard to kind of get out and do anything, even if I could. But how's the snow down there where you're at, Tristan?
Well, I was gonna say, like, I just went back out there last weekend after, well, actually on Monday, because I was waiting for the snow. I mean, we had snow here that just lasted for weeks.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's not,
same
it's
here.
not even completely gone. It's mostly gone here, but
Yeah.
it's not even. You'll still see little pockets of snow here and there, but it's mostly melted out.
Oh, nice.
And in my research area, it's pretty melted. So I'm hoping to get back out there again this week, maybe this weekend. But
Nice.
yeah, like those past couple of weeks there where we had the snow, that was ridiculous.
Oh man, I
I couldn't
know.
go anywhere, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna go squatching in this. Forget it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it was pretty bad, very bad.
Good to see
Yeah.
Lockbeard. Good to see Lockbeard. Sean, what's the weather like where you're at?
Sucks.
Is it?
There's nothing. Yeah, nothing. We got 6 inches of snow.
No.
That was about it. And I was like, that's it? Damn.
Wow.
When I was a kid, it used to snow. Now Connecticut's like fucking Florida almost. It's always warm.
Mm.
We had one year where it was 60 degrees in freaking January. And then
Wow.
February came in like a madman. It's 30 degrees and your body's not acclimated to it anymore. So it got real cold. So now cold days are impossible. We're all bundled up. I'm like, it's 35 degrees outside. I used to go outside in just a t-shirt. Now I'm like, because it's been warm for so many years, I'm like, damn, it's cold. I don't like this shit. My dog don't care. My dog loves the snow. I took him out there. He was happier to leave me out there freezing. I'm like, no, we're going inside, pal.
Well, my outdoor kitchen got destroyed during our snow. Totally destroyed.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm going to do with that one, but COVID kind of broke me. But I'll find a way. I can still cook, so it's just it literally busted the sides and everything. It just happened so fast I wasn't able to get to it. So that was heartbreaking. But then yesterday it's 61 degrees, and I mean I was warm yesterday, and then today it was back to cold and rainy and
Yeah, I know.
awful.
Like
So,
bipolar weather,
yesterday
man.
was weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird yesterday.
yeah. So yeah, because we're all except for Sean in the same state. So yeah, and you and Brent are a little closer than you guys are to me, obviously. I'm pretty sure. It's good to have Tommy Cooper. I'm going to have Tommy Cooper pretty soon too. Another guy that I just like to keep. I like to keep this shit under my hat, guys. I'm trying to bring new things to the table, and he's somebody I've met recently that I'm impressed with. So, Dave Green, good to see my buddy here tonight. So I'm going to play the Screams. This is one I've been holding back on. So, this is one of my favorites, and I'll probably loop it. Do it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm doing the step-by-step thing the wife showed me. I don't want her yelling at me.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
She'll do it too. She'll yell at me right here in front of all you guys.
That was at rock camp. That actually happened where the rock show, back in that area, back behind camp during the night. And so, I don't know. I mean, I can't explain that.
I'm going to play it one more time.
Okay. Wasn't us.
That is creepy.
Like that last thing there. I mean, that somebody's got a good set of vocals to do that. So,
creepy. That's
yeah.
just creepy. Now, I mean, that could very well be coyotes, but there's a lot in that. There's a whole lot in that I'm hearing. And my wife says that the female that was doing a lot of the screaming up at our camp, that first weekend we ever encountered these Sasquatch, that particular group, she said that sounds like the female sounded back there when she was kind of letting them other ones have it. And it felt like I could hear something more than just that in that recording you have. There's something else there.
Yeah.
Going back and forth with it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I
heard like a male
like
voice.
to hear this stuff over and over again. You can pick up so much by just don't listen to it one time and give up on it. And and Steve also showed some great things on how people are hoaxing, and you're not.
I'm not doing it. If it's a hoax, I am not a part of it.
Yeah, you're not altering.
I'm not doing that.
So.
I mean, it could be, maybe I'm misidentifying people doing it, but again, in that scenario, I don't know who the hell is behind our camp doing that, especially late at night. So
if that's in that
you
area,
tell me what it is.
If that's in that area of the rock shell, there's no one could be back there. It's
not in that area.
No, so
not pretty late at night. And I think another thing I need to mention is, like, a lot of people are thinking Sasquatch are just like big primates that talk like primates, and I don't think that. I think with this group, at least, or this clan that we're dealing with I don't think that's the case. I think we're doing more of a hominid humanoid type of Sasquatch that probably sounds more human than maybe, other than this. I think we're dealing with a different, we're dealing with a group that maybe looks more human than, say, maybe what Ron is experienced over there in the Sierras, or, what other people have experienced in different areas around the country. So,
or we could say Ron didn't experience anything, and since nobody else has ever recorded anything similar to that. So that's where I'm coming from. And plus, I posted recently a man who could do the sounds. So that blows that theory just right out of the water. It would be different, okay? And I'm not slamming him. I encourage everyone to go watch Alaskan Killer Bigfoot, and I think it's right around episode 3 or so. Ron Moorhead shows up, and he's out cooped out of his gourd now. Boy, you don't believe me? Go watch it. If you can stand it, go watch it. He'll tell you how those bitches are living inside the tree with the tree. They're one with the tree, just on and on and on. So I can't give him any kind. I just can't take it seriously anymore. I tried. I've been friends with him for a long time, but I can't. Can't do it, and I won't support it either. When I hear things like you've got, and other people. I believe we had a little bit of activity up at our camp this previous summer, and so none of that has ever sounded nothing like the Sierra sounds. No one, and now people are copying the crap out of them too. So that's another thing that kind of sucks is people. This is stuff is getting posted on YouTube as new stuff. People are like, "Oh yeah, my mom was out hiking yesterday, and look what she got," you know. And like, no, your mom put a CD in her damn, you know, and record. That's Ron Moorhead's crap. So, and you love me or hate me, I honestly would rather you love me, but I don't care. So, I don't think that stuff is real at all. Otherwise, by now, something else would have been. As far as I've heard a billion recordings easily. I've listened to tons and tons of stuff. Everything from guys going out and pointing out exactly where the sounds come from, and it's a dinosaur track from a damn movie, and people fall for it, and they stay on those people's sides. It doesn't matter that you can show the movie, play the sound. It doesn't matter. So that's why I don't, I don't need to ruin anybody's reputation. You can't ruin these people's reputation. It's not my goal to do that. People already follow them and will follow them blindly, and get mad at you because you're trying to show a truth. And that's okay with me. And, when we're called, as a critical thinker, we're called closed-minded. And I'll never understand that. Why someone says, well, I'm open-minded because I believe they can go through portals and recite the alphabet in a burp, and do all kinds of other, and they'll do coloring books for you and leave them outside your door. That's considered open-minded, but to say I think that's bullshit, that's closed-minded. And I just don't. I don't need those people anyway. Like I've always said, my goal is to eventually reach monetary, where I don't have to work anymore, if that'd be possible. But even if it doesn't, I'm not going to do it by lying. I'm not going to do it by stretching something into something it's not. If I can't do it honestly, then I don't want it, and I'll close this show down tomorrow. That's just how I feel about it. I'm not going to embellish anything for anyone or any network, or television network or radio network or any of that kind of stuff. I'm going to do it. I'm glad to be a part of the group I'm in right now, and hopefully we're going to continue to promote truth. And we have to take our time when we're looking at evidence too, and that's what I like about you, Tristan. I just think that you need to be putting gloves on a little bit, and so that some of your stuff I think is important enough that it needs to be tested. You're not gonna be able to do that if you're holding a fucking turd in your bare hand. I'm just trying to give proper advice, because they're gonna for everything they can do, they're gonna tell you it's contaminated with human DNA. Regardless, you could probably get yourself dressed up as a surgeon and do everything right, and they're still going to do that. So, but I think you got a lot of good stuff there, and I think guys like Brent, who are out there killing it, hoofing it like he does, it ain't going to be a bear he's going to run into someday. He's going to be one of those guys that's actually going to find the right thing that we're after without having to kill it. And I think that if you listen to John Meinsinski, I would recommend anybody to go to Sasquatch Tracks and listen to their latest episode. They've had Leon on too, and they had John Meinsinski on there. And I tell you what, that is such a worthwhile listen. And he'll tell you how you need to do it, really. And I think that, Dave Green says, I talked to Dave today a little bit that I could. And he's one of the guys, that's, I think, could give you some good advice. And that is, protect the evidence. We have to protect the evidence. When it's good evidence like you've got, geez, not very many people have that kind of stuff. And that's, I think that that poop thing, boy, if I ever find something like that, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's as big as a Coke can, dude. And you don't just have a little bit of it. That thing probably had a newspaper or something when sat down for that one.
Probably
Jeez.
had toilet paper on it too. I don't know. Well, that's why we keep it frozen. I just want to keep it. Honestly, I don't want to test it. I just want to keep it frozen because I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna really get anything out. I know people have tested poop before, and I don't think they've really gotten anything out of it. So it's just the fact that we have it, and you
Yes.
can see it. I think that's even for me. That's personally good enough. I don't think I need it tested.
Well,
I'll just keep it frozen and then just have that.
I can tell you in my life, I've found more black bear shit than I've ever cared to. There's an area we hunted years ago that was so full of black bear shit. And I hunted black bear there every year and never even saw one, but you had to watch where you stepped. They were so thick. Unbelievable how those things can hide. But I've also seen grizzly bear shit too. It's not like what you have. That's not that's whatever that is. That's like a that's huge, unbelievable. When you said that was as big as a Coke can, then you pulled it out. I was like, oh my God, I hate to be the ass that let that out. Wow.
I think I made the joke before. That's probably why they scream too. So I mean, I'd scream. I'd scream if I had that. Imagine the constipation they would have. It's terrible.
Well, it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder because I listened to a gal years ago in Canada. She had a really good. She was going through a divorce, and she was talking about taking a walk, crying in the mornings. Going through this divorce, taking a walk by her lake, and she thought a bear was standing up shitting in the lake, and it made her, kind of like mad that, hey, you're shitting in the lake, type of thing. And she realized it wasn't a bear. And so, I've often wondered if that's why we don't find their poop a lot. Is it that are they using waterways to poop in, or creeks, you name it,
Maybe it's possible.
because you're the second person I've ever seen that has that poop, and the other people were at a woo conference, and there was nothing had to do with the woo. They had a big bag of it like you do, and I was just it looked exactly like that too. So I believe you may have you may have something there. I think it's important to protect the evidence.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. We had a local Bigfoot researcher take a look at it, and he also thought it was probably legit. So I don't know.
Remember, I told you the best way to know if you're not to step in that is to taste it, and then you'll be glad you didn't step in it.
Hey, if somebody, there we go. That's their examination. If somebody wants to taste it, there you go. Please examine it. Stick a fork in it. Let me know.
That's a little piney.
Yeah, it's a little nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep that in the freezer, and I don't know. I just see how long it lasts, I guess, in that state. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever find another pile of crap again. So keep it while I can.
Dave says that he's found feces that big in that basin. Now, Dave is somebody I'm just getting to know, someone that I've kind of vetted, and I absolutely trust that man. I think he's way smarter than I am. I absolutely we got to get this set up. He wants to talk, me and him and Brent and probably a few other guys. We have to do it because I think it's important. Yeah. And he's bugged me about it a couple times. The problem is I'm either working 10-hour days or I'm out somewhere doing something. And and guess what happened? We starting Monday. See, tomorrow everybody's out with COVID. We're actually shutting the doors at my work for the weekend. There's not enough people to work. We got hit hard at my work. There's 7 people out right now, and there was 4 out when I was out. And so it was a ghost town today. So they had a meeting and said, just finish the day and don't come back till Monday. Come back Monday and count on working 10 days, 10-hour days until further notice. So I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, that's I'm interested, very interested to talk with Dave too. it's just, he's teased me enough with who he is and what he does. And like he said, the goal is excellence. It really is. And I think we're well on the path. Guys like you, Tristan, are doing it right. Just need a little more guidance, in my opinion. Um, I purposely have set you into the right. I personally think with Brent, and Sean, and some of these guys, put you into the right people that can help too. Um, I think we can work good together if we get on this expedition this year. Um, I really think that if we get enough people to go three per camp or possibly four, because I know that Leon might be able to make it down by then too, and Steve is closer to there. So uh, I'm not willing to go, oh well, this other person loves it so much that they come all the way from another part of the United States. I don't care about that. I care about us local guys, and what I consider local is in the state, and let's get in there and let's do some research, man. Let's do what we can, and I'll do what I can, near the camp, but I'll do most of the cooking and take care of that. But I think that if we could get some funding, is probably the way to go. I've said that for a long time. I'm not talking about $10,000. I'm talking about a couple $1,000,000. We could literally set ourselves up there for a couple of months and be able to travel the area too. Because even in my own area, I know that there's at least 5 miles of a ridge behind us. That's where they're at. I know that's where they're at. That's where they whoop to you at night and things like that. I believe Brent and I were talking last year. I believe last summer that's probably where they cached some food too. Is up there. Uh, it's protected. It's hard to get to, and it's beautiful up there. But that's where my other friend's daughter got 4 whoops right in a row, right back. As soon as she whooped, she got them right back. And then we heard an adult later that evening. So they're there. Um, it's just it's I I'm a guy who just works for a living, so I get 68 hours a year in paid time off. That's not very much. Uh, that's not even 2 weeks. But I use that sparingly to do these things with Brent and Steve and because you need more than just your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I like to get up there about Wednesday, and those times in between the weekends is in my opinion probably the best time, is because there's not a lot of human traffic. But I don't think the humans bother them, to be honest with you. I think that they're so intrigued by us that the louder your camp is, it seems like I don't mean, beer drinking, busting bottles everywhere, tearing motorbikes through here. I'm talking about, just a good fun camp, people having fun. I think that attracts them. And I'm not the only person either. So what do you think about that, Brent?
I agree.
Man, a few words.
No, I definitely agree. And I should hopefully have some more time off this coming week. Hopefully, we'll see. So it'd be nice to meet up with you and cruise the woods.
We're like, you can't get but much more than 4 miles up the 81 right now. Even though down here below, a lot of melting. I'm thinking about tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead. The wife still has to work, but I don't have to. I was thinking about taking the dog and running up there see how far I can go. They have gated off once you hit the horse camp. They've gated that off so that people go in there and get stuck every year. So it's closed off till snow melts, but that doesn't mean I can't walk in there a little bit, put my sidearm on, walk in there a little bit with the dog. So I've always wanted to find tracks in the snow. I found them in the sand and in the I found them in the dirt, and I found them in Mount St. Helens ash. And I just would love to find some in the snow. I'd love it. And they have been found up there because the guy, that maintenance guy I know at work, I took him up there right after what happened to my wife and I. And he was telling us that he had a friend that was hunting up further up Goat Mountain, and the snows had come, and his wife was like, "This is what people do, though. It goes right over their head. They're like, why is somebody out here walking in bare feet in the snow? This just went right over her head. Why would someone do that?" So yeah, I would love to find that aren't, elk or moose or something. I'm gonna have Leon come up and look at them damn things.
Yeah. I would love to find tracks in snow too. It's just I keep wondering, like, how high though do you have to go to find them though? I don't know.
Well, have you ever had them take food? I mean, have you ever? I've only put out apples, pears, and plums, and I've put out non-sugared like cornbread and muffins, things with wild berries in them, but no sugar. And I don't know what something takes them. It could be anything. I don't
Right.
claim that Sasquatch does it. I just take them out there and hope that at least they got one. So, but
Thanks for feeding me, Jay. No.
yeah. Well, I don't.
Showing the whole time.
Now
Yes.
Tristan has a.
All me.
I forgot about that peanut butter jar that's got prints
Yep.
and everything. He's got
Mhm.
fingerprints in that peanut butter jar. That's another thing you need to have the lid on that son of a bitch and have it protected.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is.
I got
It's-
yelled at for not using a knife.
So Grasshopper it all says go to the overpasses. Never thought of that. Huh. Never thought of that. To find the prints and stuff like that in the snow. But if you're not, I don't know, I'm not leaving gifts. If you go to Bumping Lake and you see that stuff, I think that somebody should take a garbage bag and get all that shit off those stumps. Some of that
agree.
stuff's been up there for years, and people
Mhm.
swear by them. Oh yeah, I leave. I just that's your woo people, and then they'll take full expeditions from their uh, uh, when they hold their events. They'll take every person that's at the event up there, and then they'll just every stump there is throughout the entire and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then like where the tree is, whereas a place I want to go really bad to do a round table is they're still people are still dropping off unopened jars of peanut butter and things like that. There's no Sasquatch there, man. There's no Sasquatch there. But yet people are still doing it, swearing by Lori Simmons. So it's crazy. Yeah, Brent. Oh my God. As funny as I was friends with her when this went down. I had no idea. All I know is she went public with somebody's messing with her evidence and all that stuff. And so I sent her a message and I was like, well, God, I'm sorry to hear that, and all that. And I was like, anything I can do. I said, I have a friend in Oklahoma that's got a show that he'd definitely like to have you on and talk about this and everything. And she turned him down. I thought, well, that's odd. Why would you, if all this has happened? Turns out I meet Brent here a couple of years later. I was like, holy cow, it was Brent here. I'm all on her side there for 10 minutes, before I realized something ain't right. You don't want to go live and talk about this, somebody stealing your research and all that stuff. There's something wrong then. So sure enough.
Well, yeah. Well, she just used it more for a bully tactic than anything else, than trying to spread awareness, because she just wanted me to disengage and not talk about what I learned there.
Yeah, and it backfired on her big time. Big
Oh,
time.
big time. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Her brother sent me a message last year, tell me how wrong I actually put it on one of my videos. Tell me how wrong I am, and I was supposed to meet him up there, but he kind of flaked out.
Yeah.
But it's funny you were talking about like all the gifts and stuff. I remember when 1 year after the conference, there was like so many apples there, and there's a jar of peanut butter with the lid still on it too.
And but you take the lid off and it has that paper on the top that you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
they still left it on there. I was like, it's like a good jar of peanut butter. It's like, should I take it? Like all these good apples. It's like some apple pie or something. But yeah, it's amazing what people will do, what they'll leave, what people say that they should leave, and a lot of the times you're just feeding the forest animals, which but if you do leave something like a hard surface item, just kind of wash it down or wipe it down so you don't spread germs. And maybe they'll take it. I know crows like to take shiny
Yeah.
objects and
Oh, yeah.
replace them. And
Raccoons do too.
yeah,
Scrub face.
so yeah, and there's a video of an apple being taken by a crow. So apples can go missing just from a bird taking it. It's the damnedest thing. But yeah, so it's one of those things that it's interesting.
Well, I can tell you, we had a Chihuahua some years back, and she had a litter of pups, and it was early spring, and they were 3 weeks old. So I decided I would take them in the backyard there in Vancouver, Washington. We had a fenced yard and all that. I took them outside with Mama, and I went in the house to get some, because it was a beautiful day, early spring, beautiful. So I went in to get some water so that Angel would have water while she's out there with him. But Angel followed me in the house. So all of a sudden I start hearing this little baby start yelping. I go running out there, and there's a freaking blue jay. Got it by the tail, keeps trying to fly, but it can't lift it. And I was like, what the hell? I've never seen that in my life. The blue jay literally tried to take one of those puppies, and it was just too heavy for it to fly away. And
Wow.
that was amazing. So yeah, they're aggressive too, in that way. So
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I've had ravens on my recorder, so you can hear them come in and take the food that we've left out before. So, yeah, you got to, if you have food missing, you can't just automatically assume it's a Bigfoot. Obviously,
Yep.
you got anything can take it: a bear, raccoon, squirrel, mice, crows, and ravens, like Brent was talking about. I mean, elk and deer will eat your apples. I mean, anything anything you leave out can be eaten by anything. So I just hope people are aware of that. If they have a peanut butter jar missing, that could be even a bear taking that. And I know that's happened to us a few times because we found jars of peanut butter, completely chewed to bits, or half chewed, So, there's your evidence that it wasn't a Bigfoot that did it. So I don't know. But we've also had peanut butter jars that have been completely taken, and I've never seen any trace of them. So I'm not saying a Bigfoot did that, but I mean, it's possible if they don't want to give it back to you. So I don't know. People just need to be aware that not everything's gonna be a Bigfoot that takes your food. So,
and that's what I like about you, Tristan. You can't make everything Bigfoot.
No, you can't.
And I know that I was recently had an argument with somebody that they said, why won't I admit that I had a woo experience? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. They said you saw an orb. I said, I did see an orb. They said, well, then that means it was a woo. You said it came right toward where the Sasquatch were. I said, that's right. It headed that way. And they said, well, then it's woo. I said, it's not woo. And this went on and on. Finally, I said, look, the woo think that orbs are when they you can't see them until you take a picture. And then you get all these, it's dust particles and bugs and things like that. That's their version of orbs. And and one lady I know, I'm not going to use her name because I'm friends with her, but she thinks she's dancing with them, and you can only see it through the picture. She's dancing her butt off, but it's a reflection of dust. It's not. The orb I saw was the size of a football, and it could have been something that had to do with lightning. Even I don't know for sure, but all I know is it I felt like it had nothing to do with the Sasquatch in any way, shape, or form. Just happened to be a coincidence that two things happened at one time in the same camp one night. And so, and I tried to put that to bed. That's why I never mentioned that to start with when I told Wes, and then I told Chuck Slabs on his show about our encounter. I left that out because I don't know how you tell people you saw something like that, and then you're supposed to be taken seriously. So I just, yeah, it's just, I'm not going to argue those things anymore. whatever it was, I've never seen one before or since. I've seen plenty of that shit when you take pictures and oh crap, now you know, the dust bunnies, and happens in your house too. You can see them while you're watching TV. It's just the dust.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Most
nothing
times.
magical about it.
Yeah. There's only a few interesting ones really out there. You know, you get a lot of the paranormal people. That can't be an orb, and I'm like, I don't know. You're in an old building. There's probably bugs flying around. There's all kinds of things
Yeah, I've caught.
moving around. You know, it's just because it takes that an abnormal pattern. I mean, well, how much dust flying around have you witnessed on camera and studied it? And I can't tell you which way dust is going to move.
That's
I
right.
just know dust is moving. You
Yeah.
know, there's no mind behind it.
I've caught a bunch of weird things on my game cameras, actually up in that spot where we found the poop. But I'm not gonna say it's orbs, man. But it kind of looks like a shit ton of orbs on camera. But it could be dust or bugs. I don't know. But
Well, my boys saw light when they were hunting 2 years ago. They were in an area. They were camping, and they started seeing lights from about a quarter mile away, and then there was whistling, and so they were telling me every time they whistled, whatever it was whistled back, and so the next day, you know, they'd watch these lights. They were like white light, like
Mm-hmm.
like a lantern of some sort. But then the next day, they realized that there's no way anyone could have been in there, or uh, uh, or it was impossible to get in there. There's no way in unless you'd have gone through them to get there. So that was very interesting. Yeah, we talk a lot, me and my boys, about, because they hunt. I'm more of a walk down about a quarter mile and sit there for like till it's just time to go home. I can't walk like I used to. And the boys, they're on it, boy. And yeah, they tell me freaky shit all the time that's happened to them while they've been out hunting. So good prints. Yeah, my son, both of them have been walked out before by something paralleling them right in the bush as they're walking out. So yeah, they're you know, I raised them to respect the forest and what's in it. And they've always pretty much. We used to go to a place in the Susan where you'd sit there as soon as it got dusk, and they would start the Sasquatch would start throwing boulders in the drink, and they've done it for every year we ever went there. It's all closed down now. You can't get in there anymore. It's all private property. But we listened to that for years as the boys grew up and everything. And there were times when we were fishing down there, and if you turned your head if we all had our backs turned doing something in the tackle box or something, they would throw one in, and you just, hell, I don't know where they were over there. They were on the other side, but it's forests and stuff. But yeah, we were years and years. The boys were raised listening to that when we go camping in the Susan, this particular area called Rain Creek. And now you can't get in there anymore. It's all private. It's all locked down. Timber company.
yeah, those timber companies, man, they take over everything. It seems like. You know, like they take over areas that, you know, you would research in, and then you can't get back in there anymore because they're private property now. So
Well, look, I think we got an hour and 24 minutes we did here, and I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. And I think it was a good show. So
yeah,
can't
thanks
wait
for having me on, and it's great to see you guys again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really happy to JC showed up, she's my good friend, and Jay Fritz and all you guys. Alex showed up. I appreciate it, man. So just keep showing up. And Sean, what do you got coming up?
Nothing. I just want to. Can I close with something, Jay?
Sure.
When you were mentioning about Ron Moorhead and the tree thing and the Bigfoot living in them, this is a problem for people like me. can you please just listen to what you are saying? And then you want to go, people don't take this subject seriously. Well, listen to what you are saying. Is it serviceable to be taken serious? Or is it just non-serviceable to the subject? If it's non-serviceable, I mean, why even say it? It's kind of like people go, well, I have an opinion. Okay, I have an opinion about everything. Doesn't mean I have to say my opinion about everything. Doesn't mean I have to say my belief about everything. People always ask, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see that? No, it's not serviceable to the subject to me. So I don't care what Ron Moorhead says. And I propose neither should anyone else.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind. If you want, you can't propose these things if you want the subject taken seriously. And that's been a significant problem, is just, do you hear what you are suggesting? Because it is so out there that it doesn't do anything for the subject.
That's right.
So I think from Ron Moorhead's perspective, he probably thinks he is right. Because I watched that episode that he was on, and it was like, wow. And it's no coincidence that they started having paranormal, weird activity after that either, all primed up with Ron Moorhead. I'm sure he's a nice guy and stuff, but he probably thinks he's doing God's work, so to speak, with the information he's presenting.
He can think that all he wants. Doesn't mean everybody else should.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's like, free yourself.
Yes.
Yourself and help the subject.
Well, you know, with people like that, you know, I just kind of, for me personally, I'm like, well, they're not reliable sources for Bigfoot evidence. So it's not somebody I'm really going to listen to. And I question their back history too. It's like, well, maybe they were wrong about this and that, you know, and
Exactly.
yeah, well, it'll never end, because that's part of the subject, is the narratives that people are able to create from it. It's never going to end, because that's what majority of the subject is. There's a little fact and truth going on, to the point where, you know, it's until we get hard data and facts to make it so they can't make stuff up anymore or go down some delusional path. It's always going to be part of the subject.
But why can't they come up with the hard data? It's not up to me to come up with hard data.
No,
it's up to them making the
these
claims to get the hard data. What happened to the mind here?
You got to open your heart and soul, man. Open your heart and soul.
Yeah,
open your heart.
My mind is too on point to consider my heart anymore as a member of its organ. But what happened to the mind? The mind used to love real vetted data. It used to enjoy it. You know,
some people are just
and then
too
your
trusting.
entertainment was your entertainment.
Well, when you have these shows bringing this stuff on, number one, the show's a farce.
Yeah, it's scripted. That show is not real at all. It's a scripted show.
That whole thing with
those guys are all actors.
Yeah, Frog Ranch, that's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, that Sage Accord thing, what they're doing with that Finding Bigfoot thing, that's bullshit. And people are eating it up, and they have total clubs that will just. And like you said, I'm done wasting my time with it. But anybody, they're having Ron Moorhead speak at Squatch Fest. And I just thought to myself, have you not seen? I mean, seriously? He just was on this freaking show. I just couldn't believe it.
Well, no, it's more about, with something like that, it's more about he's an attraction that's going to bring more people to it, to add more, you know, to the, and that's the downside of it, is people are going to get promoted. Yeah, you know, people are going to get promoted that probably really shouldn't. But it's a really hard thing to navigate when you start getting into that, because there's a fair amount of people that believe what Ron Moorhead says, because they're just they just want to believe just because, and that's just, you know, those are people you're probably really not going to associate with much anyways. And like somebody was saying, it's just best to kind of move on and find the people that you do kind of more mesh with and focus on those. And when, you know, people like Ron get the attention, like on that show and stuff, it's like, you know, it does make the subject a little bit more silly, but we can't let that dissuade us.
A whole lot more silly.
Yeah, but we can't let that dissuade us, because it's only a small thing where It's
No,
not
it's a
something to
big
consider.
thing because so many
Yeah,
people
well,
believe it. It's
Quantum
ridiculous.
Bigfoot.
yeah.
He claims he took some classes and studied up so that he could argue quantum theory. Come on, man. You don't know quantum shit, man. Come
If
on.
if if you think you know quantum physics, then you don't know quantum physics because it's just one of those things that nobody can really ever know, especially taking some online classes. I think he gets his information from what he feels is true and not what is actually true.
What did I miss?
Yeah, it's good for you to show up late there, Steve.
I think he showed up at the right time because we weren't talking. We weren't
You'll have
talking
to
about this before he showed up. So
you'll have to edit out the
he
parts where we're
joined at the
talking
right
about him.
time. No,
No,
I
but
wouldn't trust any of these television shows you're seeing. Finding Bigfoot, Expedition. I don't. That's just all scripted Hollywood producer bullcrap, and I don't. It doesn't help the subject at all. It hurts it, and it makes it more. It makes it a sideshow, and more so than it really needs to be. So it makes it more of a circus. So
yeah,
it's too bad too because mainstream people like people who aren't even into the subject see this on Discovery or something like, oh wow, and like Finding Bigfoot, that gained the subject a lot more popularity, but probably not in the way that it should have. You know what I mean? Because you got all these certain people involved, producing, showing this stuff to the world, and it just makes it look more silly than it really is. And so I think really it is. It's like researchers like us are the ones that are going to find that evidence and find that. And find what people should be looking at, not what they see from a screenwriter or producer on TV, producing this crap on TV. Because I don't think that's just. I don't know. I
it's
wish honestly, I wish that stuff would stop, but it's got to keep going because it's really popular now. And unfortunately, because of Finding Bigfoot, because of how popular that was, you're going to see more of these kind of shows pop up. So for me personally, I can't watch Alaskan Bigfoot or any of these shows because it's all bullshit. And
I
you have
watched
these.
I watched the whole thing, man. I'm up to date with
It's
every episode
bullshit.
every
They're
week,
all
man.
actors. It's just no. I mean, sure, you might get a researcher like, say you get Ron or Bob on there, but they're just paid and maybe even told to say some things. So I don't know. It's like
No,
it
it's
doesn't
a
make
fun
it credible, in my opinion.
it's a fun one that me and my son actually watched because we talked shit about it during the entire time.
Yeah,
It's
right. I
like,
mean, you
and
make
it's
fun of
like,
these guys on there.
yeah, you pretty much do because it's funny because they're up there at the Portlock, I think, and it's got a history of like, oh, it's supposed to be Bigfoot. The whole history behind that is a road was built and the town became obsolete, and that pretty much sums up that town. There's some crazy stuff that happened back in the day, sure, but there's no reason to think that it was Bigfoot. But the way that this new show is like drumming it up, it's like, holy crap, the suspense music that they put in there, it's like, they're really shoving it down your throat. And it's like, yeah, the acting is getting worse.
Yeah, it's just holy crap.
You and your son must be like doing the Bigfoot version of remember the guy Mystery Science Theater.
Oh yeah. Oh, we should tape it. We should tape it, man, because we're brutal, with it, because it's so funny with how they're, it's just it's made for TV, and it's fun. It's fun to watch, but not take it seriously. But I think a lot of people who do watch it probably do take it seriously. Like, oh wow, this is really going on in the Bigfoot world, and I know Expedition Bigfoot really tries to portray themselves as being on the cusp of Bigfoot research and technology, but the reality is, it's not. Yeah, Russ just carries a big backpack.
And then you got Dr. Maria. Oh, the cheerleader. If you go to her website, it's all about the cheerleading. It ain't got nothing to do with her.
Her and Russ are a couple now.
Oh, I wouldn't even doubt that.
Yeah, they just posted a picture of them in like some Hawaii getaway, and it's like, oh,
take half his face off with those lips. Jeez.
No, but I hope that they have. I hope they have season 3 come out, and I hope it's just as fun as season 1 and 2. I'm sorry, I like B-rated movies. I like really stupid movies sometimes.
I like monster movies, not slasher, murder shit, but monster movies. Creature from the
Yeah.
Black Lagoon shit. I love that shit. Dracula and
Yeah.
Frankenstein. I love that kind of Godzilla and King Kong and those types of things. I love
Well,
monsters.
I don't think the Expedition Bigfoot is quite up at that level yet. Still, we're talking D-rated, you know.
If we start seeing people in monkey suits, then they'll be way more entertaining. But we haven't seen anything like that. It's just thermal footage. Thermal footage is not going to be the way to prove anything. I'm sorry, because I mean,
No.
you're not getting that detail anyway. It's not like the detail you would get from a night vision camera, for example. So you're just seeing blob squatches, really. So I don't know.
Well, that's what sells. You know, if they got the ass
Yeah.
end of the cow in perfectly, it probably wouldn't have been a good promo for them. You know.
I'm a member of 3 groups. I quit the Washington State one, the one that my friend, I just can't. That constant blurry. Somebody posted a picture of an eyeball under a tiny plant with a flower that's
Oh,
that
I
big.
saw that.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that.
I straight up called them out. It's straight up hoax, man. And boy, people got rough on me. I was like, I don't give a shit. I said, blah, blah, blah. That flower, that's got to, whatever it was, it had like a mask over its eye too. Weird. It's just the whole thing was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that person, probably believed it, and it's like it would be nice if there was more vetting that people did before bringing it to the public, but I don't know if that's really ever going to happen because people like that.
That's why they have those clubs.
Reaction. Yeah.
Club of brain, use it.
Yeah. Well, it's like saying some people just want to use it because they get interactions with
people.
Well, people see pareidolia and they think it's a
Stop
Bigfoot.
doing that.
You just
Use your brain.
Yeah.
Pareidolia or some kind of misidentification.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's what this picture was, because it was likely pareidolia because the figure would have been like the size of an infant or smaller, because the flower
like
that was, more like a rat. Yeah, if anything, because there's no way that it was probably the rat there just waiting for the gifted food.
I think they superimposed that eyeball underneath that, and to think she was too stupid to realize that people were going to call her out on the size of that plant. Because that's all the bigger that plant gets. All right. It's not that one just was an anomaly. Those plants grow right low to the ground with teeny little pink flowers. It's basically a weed.
Yeah. I don't think it was hoaxed, photoshopped, because you can easily get pareidolia. She strikes me as somebody who's a pareidolia picture person, where they go examine all their pictures that they take with a fine tooth comb and picking stuff out. Mark Zaski's really good at that.
Yeah.
Who? I don't know if you guys just saw his. He's got a new 2-hour documentary that he just released.
I don't watch anything with Mark.
You guys don't keep up? No. He's on the leading edge of Bigfoot research. And I said that with a straight face. Sort of. Sorry. I don't mean to talk.
When they had that porcupine boy in their last documentary and Carrie Arnold's all involved with it and all that stuff, that's all you have to do is strike out with me. You have a hoaxer on. I'm done with you. I'm done. That means that I have to question everything you've ever done. And I don't have time to question everything you've ever done. So I'm just going to make it very simple. I'm not going to follow you in any way, shape, or form. And that's, that porcupine bullshit. That guy to spend that much effort to bring that. I just can't even. And that's going to be like the Robbie Knievel over there on Alex's show, in the chat. That's a big thing. We talk about Robbie Knievel in the chat, how he does these superhuman things, and it jumped over Bluff Creek backwards and turned back time, grabbed the suit from Tate's uncle and sold it. It's we just have fun.
First time I've heard this. Yeah. I've never heard that before.
Oh no, that's that's Tate Hieronymus. That's his uncle was Bob.
Oh.
So we always do a lot of that kind of stuff with Tate on the chat. It's a lot of fun. So
yeah, what's to do with Robbie? what's the deal with Robbie Knievel now? I don't understand what that's all
But
about.
it's just he's inserted in there, and we just take the ball and run with it, dude.
Oh,
He
okay.
was in a Bigfoot documentary too that he was the star of. It's free on I think IDBM or Tubi.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's on one of those, but or maybe even Netflix now. But you should watch it. It's really
It's good fun.
woo, yeah, that's entertainment.
That's what he did it for, basically.
Oh no, I like the chatter of just of how Mark rolls. Yeah.
Yeah, when he gets mad because science won't.
Oh,
take
I
me
love when he
seriously
gets mad. That's entertaining as hell.
I can't believe science won't take me seriously when I have all this evidence. I'm like, dude, you walk in my office, I'm Dr. Meldrum, and you walk in with that shit, I'm going to tell you, oh, yeah, by the way, there's the door. Because this is garbage.
Well, he's doing like some sort of group now, like learn from him type of group or whatever. So he's actually going to be more active on the YouTube front with his Bigfoot evidence research. You guys should really subscribe to his channel, man. You guys can learn a lot.
I think what matters now is in us finding evidence and, and just going with that. Cause looking at other evidence from other people, it's like, it's just a waste of time. I mean,
it is.
Get your own evidence, have it analyzed, have somebody tell you it's Bigfoot or not, and move on. That's how I say.
Well,
it's all about finding the truth. Just
but
find
it have
the
so
truth.
much fun.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I'm not there for the evidence. I'm not there for the
people's agendas, politics, and all that BS. Just
no, I'm there for the narrative. I like the fun. It's more fun. I'm the evidence is like I've already like there's never going to be any evidence. But what's said about it is interesting and fun.
Yeah.
It's like watching Colorado Bigfoot. It's just I listen to him. Just because he's like so far out there, and it's just interesting to you get no real value of it, but it's just like again you just watch a train wreck for whatever
Kelly
reason.
Shaw's the same way, man. Same way Kelly Shaw is.
Geez.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch stick structures for 2 hours or whatever, go for it. I mean, that's the problem for me. That's the problem with the YouTube is like, sure, you get a lot more people now going out there trying to find evidence, but a lot of the stuff that you're watching is just nothing really, in my opinion.
Bushcraft or, something like that. Yeah.
It's just
Why would a Bigfoot make something? Why would a Bigfoot make something that he can't even get into or she can't even get into? Why would you make a teepee that you can't even get into? What would be the purpose of the teepee if you don't have something to cover it? It makes no sense. It's the stupidest thing. And if you're that far into the forest, and let me tell you something, since 2012, bushcraft has been big and it's worldwide. I follow about 7 people worldwide that in different countries that bushcraft literally go miles and miles and miles into the bush and literally make these structures and all this other stuff because they hang tarps on them. They make, I don't know if you've ever watched the Bearded Woodsman and people like that. They'll go on 30-day challenges. And that before you know it, before the 30 days is up, they've got stairways leading up into trees, and they've got their hammocks set up, and they've got tables and chairs, and you name it, man. It's just that's what they do. Why would a Sasquatch make something that it can't even fit into? It just doesn't make any sense. But yet these people, if you didn't see it do it, like you say, Tristan, with your everything you've got, I didn't see it.
You don't see
These people are betting their lives that this Sasquatch did this. And I remember Nathan Rio some years back posted a picture of a little fort he found. All right. He said, well, there's beer bottles in there. The little fort had been put together by hammer and nails. And here's Nathan. Here's Nathan saying, well, who's to say a Sasquatch didn't get in somebody's garage and steal hammer and nails to build this structure? And who's to say you didn't find this beer or whatever? I'm just thinking, this, are you out of your freaking mind, dude? Really? Yeah. So yeah, you see what happened to him? He got caught doing some bullshit. He went from being extremely popular, and he had been offered multiple times to have his own show and stuff, to nothing because of that. So that's why, look what happened to the Rev from Kelly Shaw. And it basically took his monetary value and everything, just from something. As Mino is saying, he stole some of my stuff, which just, you think that YouTube would have done a better job than just to say, we're going to take your monetary stuff away from you because of that, So that's just amazing to me that people do these kinds of. It's a vindictive little thing we got going here with Sasquatch. And I can tell you, I knew the original people, man, and they were just as hateful to one another. Without the internet and all that, they were hateful, straight up hateful. Stealing, all of them were guilty of stealing, including Peter Byrne. Stealing, Renee Steeler. They were all guilty of suing one another, stealing from one another. It was awful. We're going to do a complete conference of me calling you out, and and just ridiculous things. That's what they were doing back then, right up till Renee died. That's what he was doing. Calling out Grover Krantz and Dr. Meldrum. And, I loved Renee, but these guys spent more time fighting with each other than working together. And that's what I don't want anything to do with that. I want to work together.
No, and you're still seeing that shit though, with people today, obviously. So the whole politics and toxicity of, I hate the word community, but what am I going to call it right now? I mean, you guys can put another name to it if you want, but I'm just saying that's the other thing too. Like, I try to stay out of this stuff, and I mean, I'm more than happy to come on and talk about evidence and share evidence. But like, when it comes to talking about people and people getting into arguments and shit like that, I'm not into that. I care more about finding the truth and getting evidence, really. Like, I could care less, if somebody has a grudge about somebody, or, somebody stole something for somebody else. Like, that's their problem. But I'm just here to find evidence. That's all I care about. And I think everybody else should have that same mindset. But unfortunately, like what you just mentioned, you had people, even, John Green, DeHinden, those guys, they all fought about them amongst themselves and egos. And I don't know. And
it was only
here we are 40 years later, and where is that solid evidence of Sasquatch? Still not here yet, right? And the fact that we're all fighting amongst each other, they ain't gonna guess anywhere. So
there was the original 4 plus 2 or 3 guys mixed in that group. And just, it was a nightmare. Thomas Steenberg can tell you a lot about what went on back then. He's the last of what I consider the giant of the shoulders that we're standing on right now. And he brings real truth and wisdom. I think the wisdom is better than anything what comes from Thomas Steenberg when he talks about, only tell the truth, don't ever variate from the truth. And the truth will set you free. I mean, I live by that. I'm not gonna, if I don't think this is Sasquatch, I'm going to tell you it could be anything. It pisses a lot of people off, but
sure,
I don't know why you're mad. I just, what you have to me is very intriguing stuff, because I've heard some of that stuff before. So that's why I back you. That's why I brought you to this table with these guys. So.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And it's up for interpretation. So if somebody thinks it's people doing that, totally fine with me. You can have that opinion, because I don't know what the hell is making those sounds. So go right ahead. I'm just putting it out there, and I'm not hoaxing. I'm not, I'm not hoaxing any of those sounds. Am I misidentifying some of the sounds? Maybe it's a person doing some of them. Sure, fine, whatever. But I'm not going to claim it's a Sasquatch. So
here's why I back you. Most of why I back you, Tristan. Most of your stuff matches. You don't have multiple things that nothing is the same. Most of what you have matches. It's something that we need to listen to, and it's something that we need to study. Is some of your stuff, could it be other things? Of course it could, But Steve gave us the absolute how you can hoax. You're not doing that. You're not altering
I'm not.
anything. So
No.
that's what I like about teachers like Steve. He's taught us something. He's always teaching us something. And that, in my opinion, that's the way most of these guys are too. You know, I that's why I like your stuff. It's because there's so very into it, but it is basically you're listening to something very similar each time. I
Mhm.
think that's important. Otherwise, we're just going to be all over the place. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're a breath of fresh air as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and unfortunately, sound is all I have, and of course, I want to get something visual, but who knows when or if ever I'll get something really concrete visually. But I don't know. Hi,
Nikki
Nikki.
Poo, Nikki Poo Poo, I love Nikki, love
Yeah.
Nikki.
So I really don't know if this is ever gonna get solved because, like, how many more years are we gonna deal with this? It's surprising to me that even from Patterson '67 and now, we just don't have anything that's is better than that. Honestly, it's pretty ridiculous. So.
See,
And
but
with all this
hey,
infighting, that ain't gonna get us anywhere. So I
yep,
really hope people would stop worrying about what other people are doing and fighting about. Just keep researching and get your own evidence. Stop worrying about other people and creating more arguments, more fights. And I don't know, man. We're just not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere right now with this subject, in my opinion. It's not sure you'll get audio here and there and footprints and stuff. It's like, how many more years are we gonna keep doing that? We gotta get something better than the Patterson film. And I'm not saying so much bring a body in, like just get 4K evidence of one if you can. You know, get some National Geographic shit going on if you can. But
well,
I
that's
know
the
that
thing
it's
is
said and done, but that's what I would really like to see is
when you
actually,
see these guys bringing this fuzzy shit to the table, and that's
yeah,
why I've left almost all these. Only a few of the sites don't allow it. Very
yeah,
few, and that's why I can't do it. If you could take a picture of a deer and a cow and an elk and you know, while you're fishing, you can actually snap the photo of the damn thing jumping, but you can't get a picture of a Sasquatch that's just sitting there. Uh, I just I don't get it. And when people go, oh, and it's holding a baby too, you know, I'm just like, what are you talking about? You know, and that leaves
mhm,
that open. That's just, and as long as these groups, which is fine, start your own group, that's fine. Allow all that stuff, and you know what happens? You get the clicks, you get the likes. You're doing pretty soon. You're making money because you don't care. I care. I really care because I've seen these things. So
yeah.
that's why it's important to me that I'm not doing that body thing. I don't think we need to bring a body in.
I
Like
don't
I
either.
said,
I agree with you.
if you listen to John Monzinski on Sasquatch Tracks, I hope everyone is listening. Go to Sasquatch Tracks. It's a podcast. Listen to their latest episode, and it's a good one with John Monzinski. He worked for all the agencies at one point. So he can, and now he just works with the Native Americans. So I think it's important to give him a listen because he will not do podcasts. He did it as a special favor to Micah, and that was it because
Yeah.
he's tied with the Native Americans, and he can't divulge a lot of the things that they're working on. So
Mhm.
and we're going to lose him
Yes,
too.
sir.
I mean, he's another one that's older. Uh, I hate to say that, but I mean we have less time than we have more time. I guess I should say respectfully uh, with him. So Jamie. So yeah, type specimen. You know that's what I like about Steve, man. Really don't need a body. Look up what type specimen means. It is just one Google search away. That's right. If they can identify another species of orangutan by just eDNA, then come on, that's not fair. There's plenty of evidence in the Bigfoot world. You've probably got with that bag of poop. You've got it all right there, And John
Yeah.
Miesinski talks about poop too. So
Yeah, it's possible.
he almost got fired because he had hair samples that were looked at, and it turned out to be primate. So while he was working with one of the agencies, they threatened to fire him. So he quit working with that agency. So I think it's, you know what, I like to give people food for thought. I don't mind talking about other podcasts and stuff when they're good. Um, so I definitely would recommend Sasquatch Tracks because I recommended Leon go on there, and he was on it, and he kicked some ass on there. In fact, Micah Hanks still talks about Leon as one of his favorite interviews. Changed the way he thought a lot about how to approach this subject in a more scientific manner. You know, I mean, because we are kind of in this fog where we think that certain things are right. You know, that well, we should follow this rule or that rule. You know, I think we need to get together and decide. You know, as a collective group of people, what is what do we want to do? What do we want to achieve? I don't want anything to do with the woo. It doesn't mean I won't work with a few of them because in the end, their goal is the same as everybody else's. And
Exactly.
some of them.
Yeah.
So I don't see any problem with somebody believes in a lot of the stick structures or something like that, or the what do they call those things, glyphs.
Glyphs.
I don't mean when I said that I just couldn't get it out because I've seen a glyph. So I just wonder, there's some people that we could work with. Not the,
Well, I just want to say in turn to the stick structures and stuff. I mean, if we are dealing with a hominid, I would think they would have some kind of capacity to want to build something. Now, for what, I have no idea, but I don't, if we're dealing with a hominid kind of species, they might have that kind of mindset to want to build something. So that's all I want to put out there. And I also want to say that maybe stick structures could be, and I've said this on Alex's chat many times, it could be a combination of people, natural debris, and maybe Bigfoot, all happening at once. So I don't know. But I mean, like I said, I think if we're dealing with a hominid, they might be totally bored out in the woods. So maybe they will want to build some things out there. What they are, I don't know. But I personally wouldn't totally rule out a stick structure made by a Sasquatch because I think it's possible. But I also, like, to your point, it's also completely possible that people make them or that it's just natural debris. I can't tell you how much natural debris there is. You probably saw it at Bumping Lake. There's so much crap on the ground.
Yes.
So you can't say a Bigfoot made all that, but
nope. You go up that trail. You go up that trail to go to the back. There's what most people would call stick structures. They're not going to do that right off a trail or right off a camp.
No.
It's just after you took your recorder and everything, my wife and I walked up there for a ways. That son of a bitch goes up a ways where you went. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I went about, I don't know. We went as far as we could go before we're like, I'm done.
And that's how I was able to get those sounds, though. I pointed that thing up that mountain, and that's how I was able to get those. I know you guys couldn't hear them because they were pretty far back in there, but I guess I was lucky to get something from that direction. Because there's nobody camped in that direction. That's just woods. So.
Yep.
So yeah, maybe on a future show you could play that. I think I did send those to you, but
I've got a whole computer page full of stuff you sent us, including picture. No, I'm glad to have it. I'm glad because
I'm happy to share that shit.
With my own what's going on for myself is being able to look at the prints, blow them up, look at them. It helps me. I noticed that in some of those prints, the big toe seemed to be skinny, and some of those seemed real short. Now, in the juvenile prints I found up here on our side, the big toe was round like that, and then the other toes were there, which was I've always found, even with a couple of the adult tracks, the the big toe was round. So that leads me to believe that maybe there are. I'm not going to go into like there's different types and that kind of stuff, but maybe there's a slight variant from place to place.
Well, sure. I mean, we have different races of human. Why not different races of Sasquatch? I don't think that's out of the. I don't think there's anything wrong with that idea. I mean, different variants of them. Obviously, with the skunk ape, that's gonna be, it's gonna be skinnier, more lankier because they don't need that kind of body fat and muscle like they do up here to survive. The winter conditions and all of that. So
that's why they don't have any in Florida or Georgia.
Yeah.
Pat's not here. Shit, that'd have been a good one. But I think that there has to be some sort of. I gotta turn this phone off. Some sort of variant.
Yeah, I don't think it's one specific type or species going on out there. If we have different races of humans, there's got to be different races and different variants of them as well. I can't imagine it's just one type of species.
Well, you have your mountain gorillas and your lowland gorillas, and I hate using gorillas as a thing, but you have now I guess 3 different species of orangutan. Now they've found another species of just 10 years ago or so of chimpanzee that is as big as an ape, and so
the billy ape.
Yeah, that billy ape. That's how do you miss that? So
I don't know.
You got your bonobos, and then you've got your chimpanzees, and they're so close in how they look that they have to test them if they go to zoos and shit. They have to test them genetically because the bonobo is run by the females and the chimpanzee is run by the male. So and the bonobo has sex like a human being. They, any place, anywhere, anytime. So that's the truth. That's how they put it. You can't see zoo footage of these things because that's all they do. The bonobos. That's all they do.
Wow.
I wish I was a bonobo. I'll tell you what.
Wow.
Just lighten it up, bring some humor. So, hey, you got anything, Sean?
No, I'm good. I got nothing left.
Well, that just sparked a whole new hour of the show when you brought
Yeah.
it. How about you, Brett?
Good job, Sean.
No, I don't. No, I don't really have much to say.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. Sorry.
I have to show
Right.
this. Any zoo can be a petting zoo if you're brave enough. Jamie.
That's true.
I like the polar bear with the paw over its face. It's perfect. Yeah.
So, Tristan, what do you got to say before we go?
Thank you everybody for coming in and watching, and thank you guys for joining us. And maybe I'll be back sometime to share more audio. Since
You'll be back.
I'm sure they want to hear more audio because I got a shit ton. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to spread you out if it's all right with you. I wanted to.
Totally.
I wanted to have Sean give you play some of your go on his show a little and do some of them audios with him too. He's a lot better equipped than I am, but
sure,
trying to put you in the hands of good people here, and I think that I'm having you back, but I think that you could get a lot more in and help further you along also, and help any of us that do a show with you. I think that you're intriguing and you have good stuff.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy talking about this stuff and sharing possible evidence. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And your mom's got lots of stuff to share, even, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess
she told me she wasn't coming on. She said there's not.
I mean, honestly, she's really, really good at what she does in terms of researching, and but I guess I'm more of the spokesman for for me and her. Really, I mean,
I even offered to bring
our team. We get the evidence together, You know, she puts out recorders too. I mean, we both do, and I get sounds off of her recorder, and and so it's mostly like just her and I'm more like the spokesman, I guess, for it. I don't know.
That's good.
I mean, she's had some possible sightings, but she just likes to keep things to herself, really, and has me share whatever evidence we have. But yeah, I mean, she's had some things, but she's really not interested in doing that. Coming on here.
Yeah,
Or going on
she
the
told me
podcast.
she. I even
That's his
offered to
first
bring
name.
her on with you, and she's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm good. So I was like, oh, she's like my wife. It took forever, and now my wife co-hosts this show, but she's just the COVID's got her so tired that she,
Yeah. Well,
I'm not gonna even ask her. She showed
yeah.
me quickly and very impatiently how to play those sounds, and I just as soon she went back there and laid down and relaxed. So
Yeah. No, you did good playing those. I mean, you did the best you could. I wish those sounds. I know the sounds when they were recorded, they're not as loud. They're not that loud. So I don't know. Maybe that's just the recorder, but I don't know. But you did a good job, Jay. Like, don't
no,
beat
I
yourself
appreciate
up
that.
about
No,
it.
I
You did
do.
good.
I love these are two of my favorite people right here, so that's why I asked them to help host the show.
Where?
So
You got 4.5 porcupines out of 5 today. Okay, so you're
oh,
good.
nice. 4.5. That's
I
good.
didn't know we had a porcupine rating. No, that's new.
Oh yeah, that's how we're doing it now.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Steve
everything's a
Cole's
porcupine.
Steve Cole's made that new rating system. I hate to be the guy that gets one porcupine. Tell you what.
I don't want to. I don't ever want to see a porcupine out in the wild now.
That's all he ever got, one porcupine.
Yeah.
Now I know why that polar bear is covering its face. It watched the Christopher Noel video. It's like,
By the way, have you guys smelled skunk at all? 'Cause
Yes.
last time I went out, we smelled a skunk. Now I've never seen one before, but we think we smelled one. So I was just
Yeah.
wondering if you've seen it or.
They will, especially during the breeding season. They will kind of advertise themselves a little bit. You always know when they're breeding because they make a distinct noise. And it's
Oh, okay.
pew, pew, ooh, God, ooh, yuck, ow. But yeah, that's. But
Okay.
no, they do. They do. I remember one night I came home. We lived on Blair Road by the Little Washougal River some years ago, and I could smell it when I pulled up into the driveway, and we had 5 acres and a pond and the river over here and all that, and I sat there in my car with a dim flashlight because it was horrible, and it was somewhere right in there, so I just got out very quickly and got in the house. But yeah, they'll do that during mating, and if something has pissed them off or something like that. But they don't just spray that stuff, so you actually have a chance. They literally will get on their back or front legs and stand up and pull their tails back and then spray you. So you get a warning if they literally stomp and then go up on their up, bringing their back legs up in the air, then you need to back off. But most of the time they're extremely social. That's another thing about a skunk. They'll walk right into your camp. When I was in the Army in Fort Knox, Kentucky, they were constantly walking into our camp with all us soldiers there and stuff. And those were the double striped ones. So yeah, you have to be careful of that because they don't just do that. You have to really make them mad because they'll come up. We've had skunks come up and eat right out of your damn hand, and it just you're taking a chance though. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were wondering if something maybe got a skunk or tried to, because it was in the air. It was really thick in the air, so we're wondering maybe something tried to go after it or what. I have no idea, but that smell was thick in the air when we were walking by.
yeah, and
so I was just curious.
It consumes the air. It literally consumes the air. It's awful.
Yeah, it is. And curious. We'll definitely do that for sure.
Yep. He's the guy to get a hold of. He really is a good guy, and he can teach you a lot of things and help you out with a lot of your sounds too. So,
cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
It looks like Nikki has given us 5 porcupines tonight, so I'm very happy.
Ooh, 5 porcupines.
Man, dang, Nikki. All right. So look, guys, I appreciate everybody coming. We're gonna say goodnight. I really appreciate Sean coming on, and Brent needed some help here tonight, and I just like you guys' company, anyways.
Yeah, no problem.
And,
Yeah.
good to
thanks for
see
coming on.
Lockbeard, man. So, but yeah, thank you guys a lot. And Tristan, your
Yeah.
wife will be ready for the next one. And like I said, I only chose 4 of the sounds because she was sick, and she
Yeah,
was
I
already doing that those sighs that women give you when you're like, and then I want this one. I'm like,
I
all right,
understand.
I'll take 4 of
Just
Yep.
2 more. Yeah.
them. I like
Somebody
my
gets a foot rub later, though, right?
Yeah. I
Nice
hope
little
I
foot
get
rub.
one. I ain't giving it. I think I should get the foot rub for Christ.
Yeah.
Someone sleeping on the couch tonight.
Yeah, it's her. Okay. Kidding. That's all kidding. I hope I'm just wanting her to get better. I hate seeing her
Yeah.
suffer like that. So,
Yeah. Hope you guys get well. I hope you guys recover soon.
I appreciate that, buddy. And we're going to
Yeah.
say goodnight. Thank you guys in the chat. We have new subscribers, and we have people who've been here with us from the start. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to cook something this weekend for the barbecue show. Anybody who wants to help me out financially and you've never heard me ask for money, but anybody who wants to kick in a little bit to help me get this kitchen put back in order, I won't turn it down. But I'm also not gonna live by it either. So I'll find a way to get that kitchen fixed back up. And I appreciate everyone who's here tonight, and thank you all. We're going to say goodnight now, end the broadcast.
Bye, everybody.